You're welcome to quite simply the greatest Formula One show in the world.
Oh, this is the greatest, man. We don't just give you the news, we give you our angle. We say stuff that pisses off some people. If you want to be pissed off, be pissed off. But like some other people say, this is Formula One, not tiddlywinks.
Yeah.
If your feelings hurt over Formula One, maybe you should start reading romance novels instead. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so let's get started. So as usual, we have to take everything with a grain of salt because yesterday Hamilton came 13th. Today he came second as far as overall times. Now we can't compare because sometimes there's a morning session and an evening session. Probably the evening sessions are
Yeah.
faster. But in today Hamilton came second and Sainz came first. But we can look for patterns, okay? So
Yeah.
Sainz had the fastest time today. Yeah, he had the fastest time today, but he was working on qualifying. That was his program, all out qualifying.
Yeah.
He beat Hamilton by a little bit. Clearly, if Ferrari had been an all out qualifying, I think they would have gone faster than Sainz. But this is still a good sign because yesterday Sainz had the fifth fastest time. So this gets to show us that Williams to be right now in this testing, they look like the best of the midfield teams, although different teams are working on different programs.
Yes, Williams.
But we want to note that Sainz did 127 laps by himself today. That's a lot of feedback. The guy is
Yeah.
working very, very hard. He's
Yeah.
very serious. Since
And it shows also that the midfield battle this year is going to be very, very tight. Absolutely
yeah,
tight.
it's going to be tight because Gasly is going to be. I think Gasly came ninth today, so
Yeah.
I think Alpine is going to be a big challenger to Williams and Haas. Haas right now is far behind, but I think they're working on a different program. They're working on testing some other things like long race pace. Today, Williams worked purely on qualifying pace, pure performance, and their time was okay. He broke under 130, but I think it's going to be remains to be seen what's going to happen with the midfield teams. But I do think that right now Aston Martin is in trouble. They're not looking that great, and I think
No, not at all. Not at
the
all.
battle for fifth, sixth, and seventh, I think it's going to be Williams, Alpine, and what I said, and Haas. I think Haas is not. We don't know. Haas is hiding what they're doing, but to me, Aston Martin is in big trouble. What are your
In big
thoughts?
trouble. Yeah, I agree with you. I think of the midfield teams, Williams is perhaps the most impressive, and they look ready and up for it. But
And Sainz is a workaholic. Yeah.
yeah, he's a workaholic. But like you rightly mentioned, Aston Martin doesn't look like they're prepared, and they've spent a lot of money. I don't know what's going to go there. If you look at
But
Williams, yeah,
let me let me absolve them as if I'm the Pope. Okay, I'm going to absolve them because it's clear that their focus is on 2026.
six, absolutely, absolutely,
Yeah. So,
absolutely.
but they have to be careful because if they come sixth, if they don't come top five, that's a big embarrassment.
It's a big
It's a big
embarrassment.
embarrassment. Yeah, but I
It's,
mean, I think they're looking at 26. But sometimes you can be strategic. If you're really strategic, you say we
uh,
don't care what people think about us. But to me, that'll be a big fall behind if they come sixth. If they allow Williams or Alpine or Haas to be them, it's going to be an embarrassment for them. But sometimes you need embarrassment because
yeah,
something
yeah.
needs. I'm a fan. I'm actually a fan of Lance Stroll, but for now, they should not have signed. They should have actually brought in Sainz. Couldn't you imagine if Sainz and Alonso had been on the same team? They're actually friends. You get my
Yeah,
point. That would have
yeah,
been
yeah,
better
yeah.
to bring
That
Sainz in to
it
Aston Martin
it would have been a
to
fantastic chemistry between the two
yeah, yeah,
drivers. You're absolutely
and
right.
yeah, and they would race each other, and I don't think it would get ugly or personal.
No, no, no,
So
I don't
I
think
think that
so.
was a big mistake. But now that it's been done, you've you've got Duhan and yeah, for Williams, yes. No, not that. Duhan is with yeah, he's with Haas. You've got
That's good.
Duhan, you've got Bierman, and
Yeah,
who's
yeah,
the other
yeah.
person? No. No, Duhan is with Williams. So you've got Haas right now, I'm thinking about Haas, but we're actually talking about Aston Martin. Yeah, so Aston
Absolutely.
Martin, yeah, they've got Alonso and Duhan
Yeah.
and Lance Stroll.
And
No,
that's
Duhan, they've got Alonso, Lance Stroll, and
is us.
no, not yeah. The third person is Drogovic. They don't
Oh,
have anybody,
Drogovic,
man.
okay.
They
Drogovic,
don't have
okay.
anybody. Yeah,
No.
and to me, moving forward, things aren't looking that bright for these guys. Honda, which is going to be working on their engine, or is it Honda is saying they're having problems with the engine, and Lawrence Stroll has spent a lot. I'm going to keep my fingers crossed because I like Adrian Newey, I like Alonso, and I actually like
Yeah,
Aston Martin.
sure.
But like we said, I think it's anything that stands out for you today about the testing. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I think in terms of mechanical grip and aerodynamic efficiency, Williams has made significant strides. I was really
Yes.
impressed with that. The car's balance appeared well tuned, allowing Sainz to extract consistent performance over both short and long runs. But like you rightly mentioned, we have to take this with a pinch of salt. It's just precision testing, but
Yeah.
you can begin to make some intelligent
Yeah, because you
deductions
start
ahead
seeing
of the
patterns.
season
You
because
start seeing
most of
patterns.
them keep their cards to their chest, basically. But then
But I
again,
think
yeah,
so. Here's the thing. So here's who didn't keep their cards to their chest: McLaren and Mercedes. I think they're trying to see where they are for race pace, so they didn't worry so much about all-out performance today. From
performance,
what
yeah.
I'm hearing, you won't know till tomorrow because you have to be a PhD in physics and telemetry to interpret the data yet. But from what I'm hearing, McLaren's race pace is fantastic.
Yeah,
Norris was happy with the car. He said it handles very well and everything. And I get the sense he didn't even push it. And it goes to show
yeah.
you, they said that they're doing very well on medium speed corners, and
Corners,
they're doing
yeah.
okay.
And they were
But
they were able to log 127 laps, which is quite impressive.
yeah, so it's clear that they still have a lot of balance. The question is that they may not have. They've never known to have a lot of straight line speed. And I always say about McLaren, they're like a jack of all trades. They do well with balance and everything, but they don't do exceptional in any one particular era. I know one particular facet. The particular facet they do is that they have balance. The car over a full season does well with any type of corners you have. But there'll be other races where other teams will do better on certain types of corners, low speed, but they've built a car that statistically throughout the whole year does well. Whereas like Mercedes will do well on certain tracks, Red Bull. So what McLaren is going for is pure balance, but McLaren, but that might be undermined by the fact that they don't specialize on any one track or on any one type of corner or any one type of performance. But the car looks like it's doing very, very well. I think
Yeah,
what they will have to worry about is all-out performance, which I think they'll do okay in
yeah,
qualifying.
sure.
They may still be a little bit behind some other teams, maybe even Ferrari and Mercedes. What are your thoughts on that? Yeah.
Yeah, I quite agree with you. The team that keeps keeping me quite intrigued is Ferrari because you can't say for they keep making us guess because you can't say for certain if Lewis Hamilton is really ready for this.
Yeah, we can't tell
Yesterday,
because
it wasn't particularly impressive yesterday. Today, you have to take his result with a pinch of salt, especially when you know that the car is there are still some refinements based on
yeah,
the data they are getting from his driving. So you can't say
their
for
car doesn't
certain.
handle as well as McLaren's car. It doesn't handle as well.
No, it
It's
doesn't.
more
So
it's more unstable.
you can't say for certain what you're going to get from him just yet.
Yeah,
And
yeah. And what
they
you're gonna
said
get
they
from their
made some
car.
refinements in their side pod. I didn't see any evidence of that, and the floor design was reworked as well. But really, you can't say much about Ferrari. You can't really,
I
stick
think
out
it's
your
the
neck on
usual.
them.
They'll probably be the second best car, do well on some tracks. They're a pretty good team. Now let's talk about Mercedes. Mercedes has the greatest improvement. They have the best improvement in race pace from last year. Fantastic. McLaren still might have the best race pace, but they didn't make as big a leap. And from George Russell and from what I saw, the car is stable. Even Antonelli was rocking it. He came in the top 9 today. Well, let's go back to the list of Or I
Okay.
no, I have it. I have it here. I have it here. Today, Antonelli was 5th. I'm going to say it again.
Yeah.
This is not just because he's a fast driver. It goes to show you
Yeah.
that the car is doing well. Russell was
Yeah.
4th.
And if you look at his time compared to
Yeah.
fourth and third, it was quite close. It was really very
Yeah.
close.
So that Mercedes car is very stable, and I keep
Yeah.
saying it. I think you said it in the other session that we did, free practice podcast.
I have a lot of confidence in Antonelli. I'm just a little scared that he doesn't
No,
get
no,
ahead of himself
Antonelli is erratic.
and crash. I'm just
Antonelli can
afraid
get
he could get ahead of himself and crash. That's just
yeah.
my fear.
Antonelli is a bag of tricks. He can give you the fastest time, or he can crash. Like you said,
Yeah.
he can give you
Yeah.
because he's still an upcoming guy. But I think if he listens very carefully and plays his role properly and kind of holds himself back a little bit and learns the mappings on the devices and everything and does sim time and humbles himself, the guy is he's gonna go far. Right now, he seems to be the best performing rookie in this, but you got to remember he's in a a fast car. Mercedes is fast. They're the dark horse,
No,
and
no, but
I keep telling people,
Lam Lawson wasn't bad too. He finished seventh. He
yeah,
finished
he
seventh,
finished there.
Lam Lawson,
But the
yeah.
problem with Lawson is that he only did how many laps did he do? 70 something. He
70
only did.
something laps. And then
That's
Max
not enough
Verstappen
laps.
sat out. Max Verstappen
Yeah,
sat out.
because Verstappen's going to do the whole day tomorrow, and I can assure you, Verstappen's
Yeah.
going to do 150. Here's my
Of
prediction: he's going
course,
to do
of
100.
course, of
He's
course,
going to do
of course.
150. Liam
Absolutely.
Lawson, Liam Lawson is a young boy. He has to
Yeah.
eat his cereal. He can't do
Yeah.
127 laps all day. But also, they spent a lot of time working his car, and tomorrow they're going to have some serious upgrades, from what I hear.
Yeah, sure, 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 sure,
Okay.
sure.
So
Even
let's
even
end on this.
the fuel loads and engine modes are being kept to their chest. They're not giving us any serious data. So we can begin to
Yeah.
make deductions. Or
So
maybe by tomorrow,
so
we should have an
yesterday,
indication.
yeah, and yesterday for day one, they said Verstappen had the best race pace overall, but I don't think the other teams will really focus on that. But we know Verstappen's going to get race pace. That's his
Yeah,
best.
sure, sure,
That's
sure,
his, he's the best. He's the best all around for race pace and for performance pushing cars.
sure.
So it's going to be interesting to see what happens tomorrow. Red Bull might be slightly down with race pace with the other three teams, which may be a problem. But let's switch topics now. Red Bull has a very good front flexi wing now, and they need to make the best out of it for the first 9 weeks, because after that, it's going to be taken out. If I were them, like you said, push it, win as many races as you can, look for
Yeah,
advantage. Because I still think that Red Bull is actually more stable than the Ferrari car, and is catching up in stability to McLaren. And by McLaren taking certain risks to try to beat Ferrari, their car might have lost a little bit of stability, even if it's not more. Even if it's not more. So the idea is that maybe Red Bull. I definitely think Red Bull has closed the gap with McLaren, and Mercedes has too.
yeah,
Question is whether
absolutely.
Mercedes is faster. But I'm warning everybody. I'm going to make a prediction here. George Russell is going to come top three as a driver championship and may even win next year. What are your last thoughts on all of that? Yeah.
In fact, I feel the drivers I really feel are going to make an extraordinary showing in this season is George Russell and Charles Leclerc. I just have some kind of confidence in
Yeah,
those guys
yeah,
that they're
yeah,
going to make an
yeah.
extraordinary showing this time around, basically.
Oh, so you're not like some other people who are like, let's wait and see. No, and if you're wrong, you're okay. But if you're right, you get the glory. I
Oh, sure,
believe so.
sure.
I believe so, and I believe so. This is Charles Leclerc's time to shine. He's been there
But
for
like you
7 years.
rightly mentioned, Red Bull are going to have to make the most use of their new rear wing design in the early
Yeah,
part of the season before it gets taken off, basically.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
Max, they'll take
yeah,
advantage of it. They'll take
yeah.
advantage
So
of
this
it.
is going to be a great season. So yeah, so we're done for today. Pretty good day. I guess it has some beer and stuff. Any last thoughts on Falabi? Yeah,
Oh yeah, basically, like you rightly mentioned, it would be nice for George Russell to
yeah. Let's go.
this season.
You know,
I
he got
just love
nice hair.
that
I have
guy,
like
especially
King
now
Russell.
that Hamilton has gone. But let's
Yeah,
see how it goes, basically.
Prime Minister Russell, fine boy Russell, Snake Russell, Warrior
Yeah.
Russell. He's the man of all seasons. All
I'm sure there's
right,
going to
buddy.
be
Thank
a lot more showdowns with Max Verstappen this
Oh yeah,
season.
yeah. He says I'm not talking to Max. Oh my God. All right. And I want to say one thing about Max too. He needs to learn how to become tough. The definition of being tough is to not get mad when you lose. He needs to figure out if he's losing this year, don't just destroy the world because you didn't win this year. It's not by
Yeah,
force that you win every year.
yeah,
The
yeah,
great,
yeah.
all of the greats lost. Hamilton lost sometimes. Alonso, who's only won two titles, and yet he still comes back. So Verstappen shouldn't just say I'm going to quit because he loses 1 year. This is a long time. I still think
Yeah,
he can win 8, 9
yeah.
championships, but I think if he wins this year, I'm putting him down as the GOAT because he doesn't have the materials.
For sure.
But I do think that they've made vast improvements and Red Bull will do well. All right,
Yeah, yeah,
thanks.
sure.
So everybody, thank you for watching our show, Formula One Fanatics. Like, subscribe, and keep on agitating us. Good day,
Yeah.
everyone.